in the air. Can't stay here much longer. Got no railroad fare. My earthly life is over. Throw my body in the sea. Save all the undertaker's bills. Let the mermaids flirt with me. Well, I do not work for pleasure, but the peace I see no more. Only reason I work at all is to keep the wolves from my door. And when my earthly life is over, throw my body in the sea. Save all the undertaker's bills. Let the mermaids flirt with me. My wife controls our unhappy home. Sweetheart I cannot find. Only thing I call my own is a worried and troubled mind. And when my earthly life is over, throw my body in the sea. Save all the undertaker's bills. Let the mermaids flirt with me. Alright, Mississippi John Hurt's Let the Mermaids Flirt With Me. Classic song. I did leave off one verse. Let's see, what was the last verse? Blues all in my body. My darling's forsaken me. If I ever see her face again, I have to swim across the sea. I've never known all the words to the song, so I had to pull them up there so I could look at them. This is another one I probably first heard Jerry Garcia play, and he played it kind of slow. It's, as with all of John Hurt's songs, he recorded them many times. There are many variations. The live album that I always listen to, probably recorded in the 60s, it was done about like I just did it, maybe a little bit slower. The Library of Congress recordings were like bright and snappy, and he included a lot of ragtime influences. Got a little extra syncopation in there, and I think that's because, one of John Hurt's biggest influences, let me grab a sip of water here. One of Hurt's biggest influences was Jimmie Rodgers. And stylistically, in the chords and really the melody of the song, this is very much a Jimmie Rodgers inspired song. If you're not familiar with Jimmie Rodgers, he's called the father of country music. Actually, that should have been Emmett Miller, but Jimmie Rodgers got the title. He was sort of Emmett Miller's protege and came along, a little bit later and didn't wear blackface music, so that was a big, plus in his favor. But this, in the key of C and the way it's just kind of lopes along like that, it really does have more of a Jimmie Rodgers style blues flair to it. And Jimmie Rodgers was a blues player in many regards, as much as he was a country player. And that music was very much a part of John Hurt's background as well. So when he gets into the Library of Congress and starts recording, I think he threw in, some of the more ragtime style that he played earlier in his life. And of course he had been hanging out a lot with Reverend Gary Davis. And I think that was just to make it his own and probably make it sound a little less like a Jimmie Rodgers song. But very much is. And especially that's a very country bass run. And it's really very signature to the song. So let's break this down. It is probably his most challenging tune. And I certainly drop a few notes every time I play it, but we start out, we go. So sliding from D up to E and from F up to G. into a C position, straight into an F, and that's really the F chord's what he played a lot differently in that Library of Congress recording. He got some extra notes in there, something like that. Probably maybe a hammer on even. Yeah, probably something like that, very much. And then we barely hit C, and we go. You can do that with your fingernail, or you can do it with your thumb. In the live recording, I have no doubt he played it with his thumb because it was a little slower. But in the Library of Congress recording, he goes, and I don't know if he did that or like that, but so start there again. So just hammer into there on the F, drop your pinky down on the D, just back in the C chord. And then we go to a G and put your finger back down there on the D and roll through it. So roll through F, G, and this time we're going to take two strings here, and I cannot tell in the recording if he's got his pinky on the G and his like ring finger on the F, like 4th string 3rd fret. That sounds good, or he could have it on the C, and you know, they both sound good. You could probably play all three if you want to. Well, that's a little heavy in the bass, but either way you want to do that, just slide up, back to C, back to the F, but get that little run in there, back to the F. And this time we're just going to put a finger down on the pinky, slide to A. Well, we'll see. That's it. So F chord, pinky on the G, slide, back down, open. And then just your note now is the C, 2nd string, 1st fret. G. Very simple. Roll through again. And then just play open, open, C. So, let's put it together, and maybe it'll make sense for you. That's it. So yeah, it's a little trickier than most of his songs, but when you break it down, it's not that hard. So as always, encourage you to listen to a lot of the versions. Make it your own. Don't feel like you gotta read somebody's tab and learn it. No, use your ear, use your own discretion, and make it your own. But really find that rhythm that suits you. I think I ended up sort of in between the two, kind of like more laid-back Jimmie Rodgers rhythm, and then that kind of ragtime version he did in his last recordings. And that feels good to me. I mean, as a Piedmont player, well, really they both feel pretty good to me. So anyway, if you have any questions, as always, email me judson@judsoncarroll.com or leave a comment in the comment section below the video, and I will be glad to help you with anything you're having trouble with. This one is a little tricky. I mean, admittedly, this is not one of those like easy-going John Hurt songs. But once you get that little rundown, and you can play it kind of fast, and those slides, and then that really the syncopation here on the any way you want to play that. Yeah, it's not that bad. And just remember that's next time through you go. That's the tricky part. But like I said, you could of course you could use a thumb pick. John Hurt didn't use thumb picks, so when I'm playing, and most Piedmont blues players did not use thumb picks. Gary Davis did, but most play with the the flesh of the thumb. And meeting those old players as a kid, I mean, they had calluses on their fingers. Their hands were like horns. They were not. I mean, like cow horn. I mean, it was. They did not need a pick, but there is a difference in. Well, I don't know if there's a way to say this without just saying it. Black people generally have heavier, thicker skin than white people. And I don't think it was, I mean, I grew up with a ton of black people. I'm telling you, these old black guitar players had hands like farmers' hands. I mean, they were really tough and really solid. If you're more of like, European and Irish heritage like I am, you may get a blister on that thumb doing that. That's one of the main reasons I learned to use my fingernail or a thumb pick. But over 30, almost 40 years of playing now, I got a pretty good callus there and I can hang in. But if I'm playing for more than an hour, yeah, I'm going to start substituting my fingernail or a thumb pick where somewhere else may not have to do that. So anyway, y'all, have a good one, and I'll talk to you next week.